Everyone, welcome into another edition of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Tony Sapita. I am joined by my co-host again, Nick Barr. How you doing today, Nick?
Tony, I'm doing well. Not feeling great about the Bulls right now, but we're playing the best team in the league. So what are you going to do? I want to apologize to you for the take before this. We started recording and I almost blew your eardrums out. Didn't realize we had some technical difficulties going on here. So this is take two, but we're rolling.
Yeah, so as Nick said, we're kind of all over the place, whether it's our technical difficulties or the Bulls, or speaking of technical difficulties, and this is what I just want to start it off. We'll get into the game. We'll get into the potential trade rumors, kind of what's going on before the trade deadline. The first thing I want to comment on is anyone that watches on the NBC Sports Chicago app, which I'm sure there are many of us out there, cord cutters, etc. I have cable, but right now we're recording. I'm not by my TV. I have it on my phone. The end of the third quarter, you're watching this game. I know it's a tough one to watch, but if you were watching,
this is me unplugging the cord.
Yes, exactly. He's a cord unplugger. He's not just a cord cutter. Cut the power entirely, baby. So Kobe White, they pass it. They kick the ball to him on the wing. It was like 3 seconds left. He's loading up for a three. He didn't even get his shot past his breasts, and they just cut to commercial. He missed it. It looks like because the score didn't change, and I'm sure it was a terrible shot. But they do this all the time. Nick, you've pointed out to me too. They do it on free throws. They do it, anytime there's basically a quick timeout after, you just don't see the last 4 seconds.
So bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you can tell it's just whatever their timer is just a little off because they're going to go to TV commercial. And usually, like you said, it'll happen on like a free throw, which isn't the worst thing in the world. After tonight, when they literally, it happened during someone's jump shot. That was just unacceptable. I got to say, it's just unacceptable.
Yeah, my last comment on it, we'll move on, is I'm curious if in real time they're seeing, okay, ball came through the net, ref got the ball back, timeout was called. In real time, they're hitting it because it's streaming, it's 20 seconds behind, whatever, but it's just when they hit the button, it just cuts off. So I wonder if that's why. NBC Sports Chicago, we know you as an entity are all listening. Just do something. Please do something. I feel like it doesn't happen for, if you watch Sunday Night Football on it. But either way, moving on. Next topic. Real quick, again, before we really break down the game, is if you're not tailing my bets, you're losing money. That's just a fact. Because money, inflation going up and stuff, you got to be doubling that money, tripling it, quadrupling it, etc. So my coin flip horse race over or spread bet, if you follow me on Twitter, 3-1, potentially looking like 4-1. I will say we're at 210 right now. No, just kidding. We're at 2-0. Nope, they just scored again. We're at 209. So we're on the track. We need 229.
28
because it's 228 and a half. We need 229. So basically, real quick, what I do if you haven't been following me is I flip a coin, and the coin decides whether heads is the over, tails is spread. Correct. Just like that. It's actually, I asked Siri, flip a coin. I don't have a coin on me at all times. I'll start making a video of me flipping a coin. So it's to decide what the odd horses will represent. So if an odd horse wins. So today, for example, it was heads, which is the over, which represents the odd horses. So an odd horse won the race, meaning I'm taking the over. I took it. We took the spread yesterday, or on Sunday, for those of you watching on Tuesday, and it lost. So that was our first loss. We were 3-0 going into that. But right now, we're going for 4-1. Fate is on our side, it seems. Destiny, perhaps. Keep following me. If you guys want me to do anything else, hit me up. Nick, have you been tailing?
No.
That's
but
okay.
I will say, you're missing out. You're right.
Yeah.
You're missing out by not following 4-1. Well, I don't want to jinx it. 3-1. Still 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome return on investment if you think about it. So obviously, if you have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, whatever that line is.
Absolutely.
But if you want some probably money, follow Tony's bets.
Yes.
For sure.
I've also been hitting my horse race bets the last couple. I've been putting out some exacta boxes for the people. It is just the odds on favorites to win, but money's money. It's been returning. So speaking of the odds on favorite winning, I guess that'll be our transition. The Suns are kicking our butts currently. There's 7 minutes left. 113.99. Phoenix. Ooh, but we just forced a turnover. Could be a little comeback in the making. Nick,
right.
what you got on this game? And then
yeah. So obviously playing the best team in the league, right? So let's just say we prepared ourselves for this occurrence. Now, if you're watching, speaking of your bets, if we were watching, the first quarter, I mean, that was some beautiful basketball right there. That was nonstop pushing the ball. I was pretty confident that the over was going to hit for you. Now we're getting down to crunch time. We'll see. Still rooting for you, bro. But yeah, I mean, we just blew. I mean, it blew the doors off. We are getting manhandled by Devin Booker currently as we speak. He's just manhandling our guards, which, again, great team, best team in the league, but just not something you'd love to see. We had Io activated for this game. Zach LaVine activated for this game after, missing them in the
Kobe
loss.
White was activated.
I mean, Kobe White. Yeah. I always do that. You know what it is? It's because Kobe White is number 0, and I keep thinking like Io, like it feels like he should be number 0 and Kobe should be number 11. That's just
I kind of agree with
how
that.
it's in my brain.
I was very confused when Kobe was shooting a corner 3. He was number 0 for a second. I did that same thing. I just switched him in my head.
Like, I know I'm not that dumb, but I do have this like little association in my head. Like, I know Kobe White's number 0 and I know Io's number 11, but I have it to where my brain is saying it should be the other way.
If they combine their talents, by the way, they would be because I think Io's the better passer right now, probably the better defender. He just kind of has all those intangibles. He's a great scorer. He's a good shooter.
Agreed.
So if you just add his shooting to Kobe's shooting, they would be an incredible point guard.
Agreed.
I already love Io, obviously, as a point guard. But yeah,
agreed.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, Kobe and Io are the two I was kind of referring to when I said Devin Booker's just bullying our guards. Vooch didn't he? I don't think he made a basket till a couple of minutes into the second quarter, so he's a little off. And then I think, Tony, we'll get into the trade rumors a little bit coming up here, but you just feel the lack of size in our front court, especially with this loss when they get, if one of these really good guards, I mean, all-star guards, Chris Paul or Devin Booker, gets past, our front line of defense, our second line is not, we're not doing anything, man. And Vooch has been he's been a better rim protector than I thought he was this season, kind of, but it just shows we need some more down there. We need some more size, just pure size, athleticism. Tony Bradley, I'm sorry, he's just not cutting it when Vooch is off the floor, and Vooch can't play forever. So that definitely hurts. So we'll talk about some trade rumors. Maybe that can be patched up. We'll see.
What definitely hurt, I noticed real quick, what definitely hurt with the size is they have, so we don't always play teams with two just like, and JaVale McGee isn't a dominant big man, but he's absolutely a serviceable big man that he's fine. He's a great guy coming off the bench. I would love to have him coming off the bench for the Bulls. Right?
Yeah, and when you have Chris Paul, the best pick and roll, like maneuver in the game of all time, maybe. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy to, you don't have to be who's a really good pick and roll big man. You don't have to be
Jokic, probably.
Yeah, you don't have to be Jokic. Or you don't have to be,
or not Rudy
Gay. Or Embiid. How about Embiid?
Embiid's a great one too.
The one that just kicked our ass. Yeah. You don't have to have that when you have Chris Paul putting it it's like having a really good quarterback. You don't have to like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. You can see they have these guys that are lacrosse players in college, but they put them out in the slot and they look like all-stars, because it's a guy thrown to him. So anyways, we're getting kicked. LaVine, he did have his 13th 30-plus games, so that's about the only good news I can really find from this one, Tony. I don't know if you have anything, but I was making full-on dad noises on the couch after, I think it was before halftime. I was just full-on grunting, and then my roommates were, I think they knew, they look at the TV, they're like, okay, I know why this is happening. Still a little strange. And then literally after I started making dad noises, JaVale McGee hit a 3. So that just set me off. I was ready to go to bed.
12th made 3 in 14 NBA seasons. That was tough. That one hurt. Although I will say the Bulls have cut the lead. Now they're only down 9. If the Bulls lose this game, even if it's only by 1, we're going to put out this episode still. If you see this, the Bulls lost. If you don't see this, that means they won. We will re-record. So I guess my overall takeaways, you kind of hit on everything, and it sucks we lost. Yesterday was a tough one too, against the Sixers. But my positive takeaway is going to be Io and DeMar on a fast break, or even when Levine's thrown in the mix there. We've been seeing Io's like, he's leading the charge, he's ahead of everyone, and then he just tosses it back to whoever for whether it's a dunk or some sick reverse layup. But DeMar actually had a nice break. Wait, NBC Sports just did it again. They cut it. It was just in the middle, like they were dribbling up the court.
Figured out.
So, yeah. So DeMar was driving. He kicked. Obviously, everyone in the world was going right to DeMar. Dropped it right to Io for a nice little layup. That was just beautiful. So I love that they have that chemistry. We've seen it grow. It's really cool to see it grow like that, where, DeMar's going to his jersey retirement at U of I. He's taking him under his wing. They were saying, I think on a 3-hour flight back from wherever they put Portland or whoever it was, a 3-hour flight back, or Toronto maybe. But either way, they talked just basketball. They just talked about everything, not just the Bulls, just the NBA, just basketball life. Exactly, because ball is life. And they talked about it. Yeah, 3 hours. So that's just beautiful. Io's going to really continue to blossom here. So before we get into who we think will blossom and potentially then get traded for an even more blossoming player, the early 2010s vibes are back. The bench mob returns in 2021 with guys like Alex Caruso, who will be back, I believe, next month. Kobe White, Javonte Green, Derek Jones Jr., and of course, our Chicago kid, Ayo Dosunmu. Head over to www.benchmob.com to get your bench mob shirt, wristbands, and more. Use code J20JOY20 to get 20% off your order. Portion of all sales go to the Quiet Storm Foundation, which is CJ Watson's foundation. I think they're already out, or they're coming out with really sick Shy Slamma Jamma shirts. So go check those out. We're going to have those very soon. We may be getting an advanced, shirt. I'm not sure exactly what the deal with that is, but when you see them, I almost guarantee you will want to buy them. So we should address. So real quick, we're going to talk about trade rumors. Nick, you can kind of break it all down. My personal opinion right now is we're in a weird spot where I'm okay with trading draft picks. I'm okay with, I can live with moving Kobe for the right price. I just don't want us to kind of freak out, kind of mess up what we have as a team right now, take on a kind of a big contract or just a weird player that doesn't kind of fit the chemistry, all because we have injuries that are going to be, everyone's going to kind of be healthy in March. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. It doesn't sound like it sounds like we might not end up making a move here. It's not really a hot rumor mill for the Bulls.
Yeah.
But Nick, what you got?
I think you're right. I think the biggest takeaway is to not jump to anything. We just want to talk about the rumors, but I think it's safe to say we both, I think our instinct is telling us that nothing will probably happen, but make any sort of move probably wouldn't surprise us. It'll probably be kind of a, relatively small scale move. It's not going to make a big splash. Given that we already kind of made that big splash. And I think Ak, our fearless leader, I think he also, like you said, is big right now on the team chemistry. And I think he's been kind of saying that in interviews, which to me means he doesn't really want to make any trades because he's happy with how it's working now, which is exactly what we had kind of hoped. But like I said earlier, I mean, we do need help on the front court, like big time. Vooch needs some help. Vooch needs some help, man. And unfortunately, he's going to have these games, it seems, where, one night he'll play like an all-star and the next it's going to be tough for him to get a bucket. And, I think even more so where we need him is on the defensive side. So Jake Poltel, I don't know. I hate his last name.
Yep.
Has been kind of the most commonly talked about, like big man, and probably the most talked about in the rumor mill for the Bulls. And I guess, so I don't know exactly the timeline here. I'm not a Bulls journalist, but it seems like the Spurs turned down some sort of deal that we made them. But Tony, it seems like they made it for, I know, at least a future first round, because we have that protected pick from Trailblazers. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what else was offered there. I wouldn't be surprised if they, I read on NBC Sports that they might be asking for a future first round and a current player, a quality player, they say, quote unquote. So whatever that means, we can give them Matt Thomas if they want. He's quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so there's that, which seems like isn't going too well. It seems like Spurs have other offers out on the table. And then we have Schroeder Schroeder, maybe. If
There's
that's it.
dots over the O. I think it's Schroeder. I think Stacey King called it Schroeder or something. So
he's
that
got
was what
something to figure out. He's also number 71. So hey, at least we know his number's available. That's good. So it looks like the framework for that, and I don't know if any offers have been made yet officially, but it looks like they might be looking for Troy Brown Jr. or maybe even like Derek Jones Jr. I don't know, could be offered, and then a second round pick. It looks like that could be on the table. I haven't heard anything that it's been shot down. I'd imagine Troy Brown Jr. though is one of the guys being shopped around. Maybe Derek Jones Jr. too. Now he's currently injured. So Tony, what are your thoughts on either of these guys, Schroeder or Podol? Podol.
So either way that we go. So my thing is, if we are trying to kind of shore up our, if we're just trying to get bigger, I guess, basically.
Yeah.
Getting rid of, I'm not going to, I actually like Troy Brown Jr. I kind of hope we keep him.
I do too.
I understand we may have to make a move. And I will say Troy Brown Jr. would be on near the top of the list for guys that I could live with parting. It would be weird for me if we got rid of Derek Jones Jr. trying to get bigger, because not that he's this really tall guy. He's long. We've talked about him before.
He does.
And I loosely compared him to Kevin Durant, only in the sense that he's very long and athletic.
Yeah.
Only just the longest arm. So he's a guy that can hold his own. That's why I'm sad he actually got hurt during that Nets game. I wanted to see him on Kevin Durant, not that he would have shut him down or anything. Again, I just want to be clear on that.
No, he's but he's a good defender.
But it's at least, it almost feels like, it'll be a bit of an upgrade. It just feels like we kind of, we just swapped it out and we're just kind of in the same situation almost. So that would be, I would want to add a big man, not just kind of swap out a bigger, longer defender.
Agreed.
So that's kind of where I stand on it. I don't know. Dennis Schroeder's a weird one. Schroeder, whatever the hell it is. That's a weird one because his contract's up at the end of this year, according to Spot Rack. Don't know how to say that either, or that website is. His contract's up. He's making $5 million. So I don't know if it'd be like a sign and trade, and then I don't know if I want to give him a big contract.
Right.
So we're in a really weird spot, and we'll have a trade deadline episode if anything does happen.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're in a weird spot where we're trading to kind of fill the void of injuries. And obviously, I know
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my apologies for taking it from you. It feels like kind of knee jerk, especially again when these guys are coming back. Lonzo's slated to come back March 4th. I think it is. That's in a month. And obviously the deadline will be passed. So who knows if he can't fully return to form, then yes, we probably would have liked to make a trade. But I don't know. I'm fine with writing it out and just figuring it out in the offseason, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would agree. I think a lot of this is just maybe short-term thinking where, we're just trying to scrape by with this, our current roster right now. But, but I think obviously, the dudes upstairs, they're thinking long-term, they're career long guys, so I will stamp it. I don't think we're going to do anything. Mm-hmm. But again, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised since we do need a little bit of help there. And who knows? Well, we're looking out for Patrick Williams' status. Looks like the timetable keeps getting shorter, which is cool. I
forgot about that. That's another reason. I just think again, draft picks, fine. We can figure out no draft picks. Teams do that all the time, but it's just the chemistry. I'm worried about not even really bringing in the wrong guy, sending the wrong guy out. I mean, because Troy Brown Jr. might be the funniest dude on the plane. He might be like that guy that just we don't know as non-Bulls insiders, and that's why in AK we trust. If he thinks it's the right move, then it's the right move. I will go down with the ship for him, especially considering what the ownership or the GM and ownership we came from. I guess not ownership; it's just GM. We still have the same owner, but yeah. So, any final comments on that, Nick? Before we
I was just gonna say it. I think we should be happy with Ack at the wheel. It seems like he's at least thinking the same thing that us casual fans are thinking, where the chemistry seems to be pretty high right now. And if he's even recognizing that, I think he's been taking that into consideration too. With all these DeRozan's been doing a lot of interviews and just speaking really highly of the team. So I'd be surprised, but again, hey, it's a business, right? So we'll see.
Absolutely. So Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. The over has hit. I am 4-1 on my bets, so keep checking them out. You will see my Twitter handle below. Also follow Nick over there. My name is Tony Cepeda. Thank you again to my co-host, Nick Barr. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, Bulls fans, keep seeing red.